Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today, First Impressions Day. It's my first impressions of a Kanwrite pen. This is my second Kanwrite pen. Similar model, same actual model name to the last one, but this one is the stealth version. Just open this up. This really dark black pen. Join me now down on the table. We'll take a look at the pen. We'll walk through the body, do some size comparisons, put some ink in it, do a writing sample, then I'll give you my first impressions of the pen. Welcome down to the table. So here we've got the box, the Kanwrite box. Looking at the box, at the back here we've got their details, we've got some email addresses, their website. Other than that, it's a fairly plain blue box. Slight magnetic fit in there, so there's a little bit of pressure as I'm pulling that and it snaps back quite nicely. Opening it up, this reveals the pen in a pen condom on a foam bed. Underneath the foam bed, there's nothing. I know I said this in the last Kanwrite unboxing I did. I just think it's a lot of packaging, which to me is a waste because I will never use this again. This will end up going in the recycling. I would have been quite happy to have received this wrapped in bubble wrap. I really would, because I say to me, a lot of the boxes for, certainly, let's be honest, the cheaper pens, you don't bother keeping. Now, when I've got a box for something which is $500-600, yes, I will keep that. But I think that's something for a lot of manufacturers. Don't bother with big boxes. They're not needed. So here we've got the pen in the condom. We'll slowly take that off, get rid of that. Again, I don't mind them coming in these. These are easy to recycle. Let's take a walk through the body. So starting at the top, we've got a flat top there. That comes down, we taper out, then we've got a ring going round, it's all black. Then it starts to taper back in. Tapers in to this black coloured ring, to which is attached the clip. And the clip there, we've got Kanwrite. The clip, nice and springy. The cap tapers out slightly until it gets to about halfway down. Then it straightens out. At the bottom of that, we transition into a metal ring. On there, we've got Kanwrite. And then nothing else. The cap, it feels like it's a very sharp taper, so it doesn't feel like a very big drop, but it is dropping off down to the body. The body slowly tapering as we come down. We've got another ring, and then at the end here we've got the piston mechanism. This is unusual. When I've got my first one, it shocked me a little bit. This actually unscrews completely, so it's just a blind cap to reveal this piston mechanism here. Now I'm going to open this slightly. I know I'm jumping ahead. There is an ink window, but as I twist this, that's pushing the piston down. Now you'll see the piston appear here. So it goes all the way down right past the ink window. Then when I fetch it back up, that's what draws the ink up. I'm going to leave it down because we'll be filling it with ink in a second. So the cap, as I say, I've jumped ahead. Let me just pop this back on. This is one thing I'm worried about. I might end up losing this when I take it off. So we'll pop that back on. The cap, half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, about 2 3/4 turns to come off. So a little bit on the high side for me. I would prefer about 1.5 maximum. As I say, we've got an ink window. We've then got the threads. Then we've got, again, a black section, which tapers slightly down, then at the bottom flares out to give you a nice lip. So it's very comfortable to hold. There's me holding this unposted. You can post it, post quite securely. I do think it feels a bit long when it's posted, but unposted, just nice. Nice width there to the section as well. You can see that my fingers aren't squashing against each other. Below the section, we have the business end. We've got the nib. Again, it's an all black nib. The whole point of this pen, it's all black. We've got there on the nib, bit hard to see, but we've got the word Kanwrite. Then we've got a logo. Then we've got B, but this is a broad nib. Let's just pop the cap back on. I know they call it Ebony. To me, this is like a stealth pen. If they'd called this the Kanwrite Heritage Stealth, I'd have thought perfect name. But I can see Ebony as well. Let's swap over and we'll do some size comparisons. Because this is the first impressions, the only size comparisons we do are with my two standards. So let me just get this lined up. We've got the Pilot Metropolitan, we've got the Lamy Safari. Metropolitan, definitely shorter, definitely thinner. With the Safari, very similar length and width. Although, yes, I know with the Safari, slightly different body shape. Let's pop the caps off. With the caps off, the Heritage here slightly shorter now. I mean, I'm talking like 1 or 2 millimeters than the Safari, but still a little bit longer, maybe by 2 or 3 millimeters than what we see with the Metropolitan. I do like the stealth nature of this. I think it looks really nice. Let's swap over and we'll put some ink in the pen. Today's ink is a sample. It's Ferris wheel press and it's buttered popcorn. It's a sample I've had for quite a long time. Never really found a pen that I thought I'd try it, and I thought, yes, I know it's going to be a light ink, but I thought it actually might complement very well with this black pen. And I thought with a broad nib may hopefully fetch out the character of the ink. Now, it's a piston filler, so I'm not going to be able to get a piston in here. So I'm going to use my ink miser. Here we go. So carefully, so I don't end up with ink all over. There goes that ink sample into there. Oh, nearly had a little bit of a whoopsie there. Pop that to one side. Here's the pen. Now, I've already given this pen a clean out. So what I do is I flush it through with cold water, just so I can make sure it's nice and clean. Gets rid of any like junk that may have been left in from manufacturing. In that goes to the ink. Let me see if I can get this slightly on one side. You can't really see much. There's the ink going down in the ink miser. And then one more go. So there's all the ink captured into here. How much ink have we got? Hard to tell, but looks like there's a nice full fill. Let me just clean this nib off and I'll pop the pen back together. Just pop this to one side so it doesn't end up being spilt everywhere. Hopefully I've got enough in there for one more fill in a pen. Time now to do our writing sample. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Here's my notepad of testing. This is an A5 notebook by Black and Red. It uses Oxford optic paper. So here's the pen. How will it write? Let's have a go. So we've got here a Kanwrite, Heritage, Ebony, broad nibbed. Price for this is roughly 46 Aussie dollars. Now, how you purchase these, you buy them direct from Kanwrite and you pay via PayPal, but it only gives you prices in US dollars and you pay in US dollars. So there's exchange rates all like that going around. So all I did is I looked at what I paid in US dollars, converted it into Aussie dollars. The ink, Ferris wheel press, buttered popcorn. Quite a long name, isn't it? Drying times, immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. There we are, dry in a minute. Now, just for completeness, for this drying test especially, kept the temperature today 31 Celsius and it is fairly humid as well. Line variation. So here's no pressure. If I add some pressure, very stiff feeling nib, not really getting much from it by pressing any harder. None, with, none, with, none, and with. Going to move the mic down to the page and write a sentence. As I say, the nib does feel a bit on the stiff side. It writes quite nicely. There is like I think the best way to describe it is like a greasiness to it. It's not like writing on ice. It's like writing on something that's really greasy. So it seems to be gliding over the page. My personal preference, I like feedback in my pens. I'm not getting a lot of that from this. There's a little tiny bit, I think, trying to come through. And I think as the nib beds in, it may improve. But certainly, as a first impression, very, very smooth. Finally, my flow test. Then backwards. Yeah, flow's really nice. So what are my first impressions of this pen? I'm going to be honest with you. I like this pen. I like the way it looks. It's a bit light. It could do with a little bit more weight, but I'm quite happy to go with that. I actually like the line I'm getting. It's a broad nib. Seems to be a nice broad line. As I said, the nib does feel a bit on the stiff side, but that's something that will, as it beds in, that will soften up a little bit. It's quite pretty. It's quite comfortable to use. There's a nice width to it. I've noticed with a lot of my pens from India, they seem to be fairly wide pens. This, as I say, no exception. Fits nicely in the hand. Does feel light. Glides well off the paper. You know, let's do a bit. There we are. That's a bit better. You know, if we do like the wasky squirrel test that he does. You know, it's filling in this box really, really well. As I'm sat here, this is a pen that I'm really wanting to get into my hand and write with. This is a pen I can see quickly becoming one that I reach for. Virtually identical to the other Heritage that I looked at the other week. Main difference is this one, it's this ebony colour, this stealth black colour. I actually do quite like this ink combination. I think the paleness of the ink really goes well with that black pen. Not really an ink I'd use in a business setting though, but for playing around at home or if I'm going to a coffee shop and taking notes for myself, you know, I've got no problem with this. I quite enjoy it. I think the pen, I say, even now, it's calling out to me to use it. So they're my first impressions of the Kanwrite Heritage in Ebony with the Ferris wheel press buttered popcorn. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What are your thoughts on this pen? I love the stealth nature of this. I think it looks really nice. Please drop your comments down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.